This week on RSBANDB Update, the lore is incubated with the new Effigy Incubator. We run through the creation process and, of course, the lore. Penguin hunting has also received a fresh coat of paint. Then it's time for the Pre-First Age of RuneScape, and we share details on next week's big episode. This is RSBANDB Update, episode 795, recorded Thursday, September 17th, 2020. Incubating the lore. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for another episode of RSBANDB Update. This week, we got a double header of a RuneScape update. It has been a while since we have had something like that, and this one is an update celebrating a distraction and diversion that came out 12 years ago, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. Tanis, you're here as you are each and every week. Welcome back.
Thank you, Shane. Are you sure you're feeling okay? You don't have a fever or something, right?
No, I don't.
Well, but you just said that sounds like there's a bunch of content, and people say we don't get content anymore.
Right?
You sure you're feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm feeling great.
It looks like a lot of content to me.
And just because we have so much of that here, we actually have a guest on our show this week joining us to talk about this, fellow by the name of Joe, or Dwarven Yak in game, if you want to find him there. He's going to be sharing some lore video content later on in the show. A really, really well put together video. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you. And I just want to say I'm a big fan of the podcast. I've been listening for a long time. Thanks for having me on.
Well, anything that, contributes to the wider understanding of lore is a good thing because, we try to be here effectively the entire compendium of everything lore-related on RuneScape because, you can have quest weeks and whatnot, and when you do these quests, some people just, press the space bar and go through them and whatnot, either because they're just trying to get to the reward at the end or they don't care about the lore. But then there might be a point in the future in which you do start to care about the lore, and then that's where you have this moment of, where am I going to go? You need some sort of platform to discuss this lore, and you've done that very well, and we'll talk all about that later. But, of course, before we get underway with that, I'll just remind everybody you can find full show notes at update.rsbnb.com. And, this week's going to be a jam-packed week because not only do we have 2 pieces of new content to discuss, we also have a pretty big announcement that we're going to be dropping near the end of the RS section. So keep your eyes peeled for that. It's going to be after we finish talking about the RuneScape live stream. So some pretty big news from us there regarding next week's show, so just keep your ears peeled for that. But anyways, I'm Shane12088 in-game, and he is Tanis79. So let's begin with the Effigy Incubator. This is a new distraction and diversion on Anachronia where you can make your own effigies after you open up what you previously would have thought to have been Karapak's lab that was, seemingly all but destroyed there, but we're actually dealing with the ramifications of this not too long after Desperate Measures. Any quick thoughts to start us off, Tanis?
We found out who the special guest was, right?
And who's that?
That was a surprise. Well, like in true soap opera fashion, apparently Karapak had a kid.
Yeah,
we didn't know about. He was born on a planet, Tatooine.
Oh Lord, already
didn't know much about his dad who turned.
And this is, of course, the mini quest sins of the father, and that's a reference that's been made many times in pop culture before. Joe, what was your quick 30-second rundown on starting this and running through this mini quest?
I think it was it was cool. The people of Anachronia saying that they can see Karapak, and it ends up being his son. It's a bit of a hit, and I like the content as well. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's something different, and yeah, I mean, I haven't looked too much into his son Vicendithus yet. But yeah, I like it.
Because, this is also going to factor into Vindicta and God Wars Dungeon 2 in some way eventually, because we know there's that relationship there as well. And, this mini quest was, I think, in true fashion, a mini quest, because it wasn't too horribly long. I think it took me about 10 or 11 minutes from start to finish to go through the entire thing on there, and that was with reading dialogue and pushing through, and it wasn't too puzzle heavy. It was mainly just a way to kind of onboard you with the content, I believe, and with that also just provide this extra little bit of lore with that itself. But I
think it's really good to have, what they said a while ago now, that they're going to tie in content to lore, because that's something that I think we need outside of quests, and you guys have discussed that before as well.
Yeah, we discussed it a lot last week because, previously you get one quest and you're done, whereas now we're actually seeing that, hey, this story content is continuing. And, you look at most other MMOs out there, World of Warcraft, Star Trek Online, they have a story arc that is progressed, and, it's weaved into all of the content that's already being brought into game. And we've never seen this before in RS, and I think they did this. They did this very, very well with this here this week with this content.
What we're seeing with Anachronia is an example of true world building in a way that we haven't seen previously. Like the closest thing would have been the elves, and then the players kind of threw a monkey wrench in that one. But you know what I mean? Because like Anachronia, you start to see content and lore come in through skilling in this distraction, which do not get distracted during this, or there is a time limit.
Yeah, 5-minute time limit.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good amount of time, because, when you log in, you want to do something like this. You don't want to sink a huge amount of time into doing the content. So I think at this point we can move into the actual content itself, unless you have any lore stuff you'd like to bring up, Joe, because I think it was pretty much clear-cut that the people of Anachronia think they're seeing Carapac, but it's actually Carapac's son. And rather than continuing on what Carapac was doing, he wants to be different and can carry on a different path. And I think what we're going to see this character come back in the next quest line following Desperate Measures, next in the quest line.
Yeah. I think I'd like to say as well, following on from kind of what Tanis was saying, of it being, a good way to like world build in a way. I think when I think of Anachronia, I see it as a better executed Menaphos in a way, because they have those quests.
Oh, that is so painful to hear. And it's painful because you're right, but it also shows what promise Menaphos could have had.
Yeah, it could have. But I think this slow building and this works a lot better, because you could have done it. Menaphos was just time gated with, really boring tasks.
The reputation system.
Making you... Yeah. But this one's really dragging it out in a much better kind of lore-oriented way.
Yeah, and you do get a piece of lore. Is it this one or the Penguin one? You get a piece of lore each month you do it.
I think it's this one.
I think it's this one.
Yeah. Okay. And
because if you think about it, he's in the process, or am I jumping too far ahead?
No.
In the process of making the effigies, he's getting a little piece of Carapac's knowledge.
The memories.
While you're getting right, and so I bet you every month he's gonna tell us a little bit of like what he learned. Maybe that could lead up to a quest or something. Yeah.
And one thing I was wondering with this, the name looks familiar. Is there going to be any link between the son, whose name I can't pronounce, to
he needs to
Vindicta
make
and the Dragon Riders in God Wars Dungeon 2? That's what I wanted to ask from earlier.
You know, I'm not sure.
All right.
I think it's good for me to say at this point, like, even though I've made these lore videos, I'm not a massive lore hound, and I'll explain more about that later.
Yeah, and we'll get to just exactly what you did with that. But, you know, I think we've covered the core aspects of the lore. And just to recap this here, people thought they saw Karapak. It was his son. He is engaging in experiments to try and recover some of the knowledge from his dad, Karapak, and in doing so wants to take a different path. And that's what this Effigy Incubator is about, to recover the memories of the Dragonkin. And, you know, we saw this in the archaeology tutorial when archaeology came out, and what you had there was a good tutorial that onboarded you directly into the skills, so much so that when archaeology came out, I didn't feel as though I was doing a tutorial and then I had moved on to the actual skill. And this gave the same feeling with this here, in that, you know, I was doing the mini quest, and then I moved down into the central area where you gather the materials, and I felt like I was still doing the mini quest. I had no idea I had moved into the actual D&D tutorial itself. So this was really well done execution on their part. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. Good tutorial for sure.
And based on what we heard on the live stream from the week previous, I thought we were going to be in for something a little bit more complicated. But this is actually pretty easy itself in terms of how you go through the creation process. So what you effectively do is you go to the center of the room and you effectively pick up some effigy casings. And then after that, there will be pieces of, I guess you could say, the broken memories that you can find on the floor. One for each of the skills: invention, rune crafting, smithing, and the third one is that I'm forgetting: invention, rune crafting, smithing,
divination,
and divination. There we are.
And farming. Yeah,
but that's what the effigies are used for at the end with that. And after you gather the materials, all you have to do is you go to a workbench, and then you make the effigies that you're interested in. As you mentioned, there are a selection of them that you can choose from. And then it's just a simple matter of walking over to the machine and passing them off to, I almost said Karapak, but I'm going to try his name. Vikendieths? I have no idea. And he puts them in the Effigy Incubator, and it incubates them. And then when it's time for you to pop them out, you grab your effigies and away you go. And that's effectively the core loop of the Effigy Incubator. Really, really simple. How did you find it, Tanis, accessibility-wise?
Well, actually, it's a mixed bag a little bit.
All right.
There's one absolutely, like, one thing that I really liked, which was that it does have the mouse over text
right.
for the different colors of the valves. That would have been, that would have kind of sucked without that. But this is actually something I hadn't talked to you yet about, Shane.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing a full review of this content. Yeah.
I'm betting at this point that your hesitation tells me that there's something wrong.
No, I mean, timed things are always difficult. Plus the way the tutorial was good, but it was just hard for me to deal with. Hopefully we'll get some kind of voiceover stuff in the future. Otherwise it's just, like I said, it's tight. Timed things like that aren't usually that great. And look, you have to have a time limit with this. Like, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do it with I don't know. Maybe you could have just put a hard cap number-wise in. That might have been an option too. But yeah, so let me like the good points are that it does have the mouse over text that can help me because I'm using a magnified
right.
pen.
And it's not only the mouse over text for the vowels; it's actually the mouse over text for the anima nuggets and whatnot.
Right. Oh, sorry. I know what it is. Like I said, I'm working on a full review on this. But the what are they? Sprites? The what's the fragment that pops up? Enriched.
Yeah.
The enriched. I had some trouble with those. I don't know if it didn't spawn or if I didn't find it. Didn't see it. So
because the ones that
it has a smoke
spit out onto the floor, or the ones that hover.
I saw there was the hover in the tutorial, but then as soon as I went past that, I never saw it again. It's like, yeah,
I think it's RNG based.
Yeah, it is. It's got a particle trail behind it and a blue bar similar to what the Saren Spirit has on it. So it's something that's definitely going to be there, and you get a little message in the chat.
Is there a tone, a sound cue?
I didn't hear one.
Okay.
There's a message in the chat that says that the effigy remnant has appeared in bright green text, if that's something you're looking at.
That's something that I can use. That's something that I can program into an alert system.
Yeah. And for the rest of us, it's pretty much a game of, click around. And one thing I really appreciate with this is that the arena is somewhat small. It's not huge like the divine caches are. And, it makes it real easy if you're looking for the dragon flesh for crafting. You can pretty much just focus on those, or the anima nuggets for rune crafting, scrap metal for smithing, or knickknacks for invention. You can just focus on whichever ones that you want with that. And, that's what I really appreciate about this is that if you really wanted to, you could just stay in the middle in this area and, focus on getting the XP. And my levels at all 99s, it was effectively 1,380 XP each time I would gather in there. But of course, you're going to want to, make effigies because that's what you take away from this at the end of the 5-minute encounter. So to effectively recap how this works here, the enriched dragon flesh, which is the crafting side of it, is used for the volatile effigies. The anima nuggets are used for the erratic effigies. The scrap metal is used for explosive effigies. And the knickknacks are used for unstable effigies. Now, unstable effigies and erratic effigies give XP in divination, farming, hunter, rune crafting. The unstable variant gives you an effigy star, while the erratic variant gives you an effigy lamp. And now, for the other skills of cooking, fishing, mining, and woodcutting, explosive will give you a star, and volatile will give you a lamp. What are you guys thinking of focusing on, stars or lamps? Primarily.
Stars. I mean, I always go for stars.
All right.
Is there a massive difference?
Well, it's just a question of whether you get
XP, right?
it's a question of whether you get the XP direct or you're doubling your XP.
Well, immediate gratification versus
probably the double XP because of Vic the Trader. I barely use it, but you can use it on that, right, when he comes round.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
And Portable Vic, too.
Yeah.
Are those still buyable, Tannis? Or was that a limited time offer?
Well, it was limited, but they talked about adding it to Solomon's, and I don't know if it
I don't know
actually
that they
happened.
did. I don't know that they did. Personally, for me, I'm going to go for the lamp variant in woodcutting because, I just feel like woodcutting is a bit of a slow skill in this day and age that I'll take any help I can get in that, 120 woodcutting push. So for me, that'll put my focus on volatiles and unstable, which means that I will want to focus on the crafting components and the invention components when creating it. And then after you create the actual effigies, you just take them to the incubator. It does its thing automatically, and then you have to pull them out by the time the encounter ends. And then after that, any components that you have left over that you've gathered, you can turn them in, and you can get incubator points. And this is where you can actually purchase
double the effigy, Shane. That's...
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Yeah. You're getting double the effigies when you make them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you guys think? Do you guys think that you'd ever come to this area to just, gather the materials offhand and, try and go for the effigy incubator points without actually taking part in the monthly encounter?
Do you want pets or not?
No.
Me neither. So, no.
All right.
If it ever became an achievement, then yeah, I would do it.
Yeah,
I'd complete it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Pets are great, but I can't. I don't think I'd ever have it out. So, what's really the point?
Too many pets.
Yeah, we are becoming Petscape. There are some achievements associated with this. There's an achievement for getting all of the research done, and this is every 12 months or over 12 months that you're going to be able to do this. There's also an achievement for handing in 1,000 total materials, and one for
Effigy Scavenger, right?
Yeah, Effigy Scavenger. Cracking open a 4-pack and cracking open a cold one, and that is for filling and cracking open at least one of each effigy, and then filling an effigy with knowledge and then cracking it open. So those are the achievements that are available here for this. I don't know. I actually enjoyed this. I found the core game loop kind of addicting. I didn't think I was going to like it coming in, but I did.
The core game loop. What loop? It's pretty quick, man.
Yeah, and I think that's why.
You have enough time to grab
How many did you grab?
I only ended up with 4.
8 on the first run that I did it, but I was kind of looking around. I wasn't being totally efficient.
Wait, so you got 8 cases, and how many did you fill?
Oh, sorry. I got 8 effigies at the end of it on my first run. 8 effigies in total.
I got the same.
Yeah.
I got 5 on the second. I think 5 is around what you should aim for.
Okay, yeah. And so for a total of 10 effigies then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. And then, of course, you fill them by getting XP in any of the skills that are listed. And one concern I had coming into this is that...
I bet I know what it is.
No.
No?
No.
No?
Mr. Ling actually corrected us on this last week. It wasn't 60k XP that you get from it. It's a lamp that scales with XP. But what I was concerned about was that if you started filling an effigy with farming, that you wouldn't be able to swap to, say, divination or rune crafting. But there's no issue. So, if you do your daily farming run and then you're going rune crafting, you're still going to be able to fill that same effigy. So you can.
I think that's an amazing part of it, amazing mechanic in that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and same thing. The cooking, fishing, mining, woodcutting one. If you want to do a bit of mining and a bit of fishing, go for it then.
Okay.
So you can effectively pick and choose what you're going to be using to fill that up. So
so a 60k in whatever combination of skills,
right?
And then you pull out 17k.
Yeah.
So it's you kind of get a third. It's
yeah,
not bad.
No, it's not.
It's better than an urn.
Yeah. Also remember that there's a 1 in 10 chance for the effigy lamp to turn into a dragonkin lamp that you can use on any skill.
Well, how'd you do in your XP in the actual minigame?
I didn't actually track it.
Dude, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I know. I was getting 1,300 a pop, and that's why I was wondering, what if you're just going for woodcutting? What if you just went in there? Or sorry, what if you were going for, say, crafting, and you just went in there and you just wanted to get crafting XP, raw crafting XP?
You could. Well, they talked about that as being one of the options.
And then turn them in for effigy points at the end.
Yeah, I mean, you can totally do that. I will have to. I'll have to ask. I'll have to talk to the skillers, find out if they figured out what the most. If it's more efficient to just concentrate on a resource than actually filling them up. I'm betting.
I would say that if you want one of those 4 skills of crafting, rune crafting, smithing, or invention, you're going to have a better time at just gathering the materials.
But how long does it take to get 5 effigy cases? You're saying it would be better to not get any cases and just go and get the materials?
Yeah, just concentrate on those.
And then another question is, I didn't have any bonus XP, but I assume this is boosted by bonus XP and will be boosted by double XP.
I would assume. I mean, I don't know.
Outfits.
Oh yeah, outfits. Good question as well. Yeah, I don't have it actually another token to reset because I did it twice actually, and I think we got something really neat here that people are going to enjoy. But it's not too overpowered.
See, that's what I'm actually glad of, and I know. Hold the phones. I said it. I'm glad it's not too good. The urns themselves are almost like this little extra that is keeping you going. The urns, the effigy, is what's like keeping you going through the month. And I mean, it's 17K. That's, I mean, in a time of 120s, that's not. I mean, that's a drop in the bucket.
It's less than a daily challenge.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, I could see it being buffed a little bit, but at the same time, I think it's just right because of it's way better than like Troll Invasion as the activity itself.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you have to remember, it's a modern piece of content, whereas Troll Invasion is many years old, and really isn't something that is enthralling for me. So
yeah, I was worried, man. There's people out there who I was worried would think it would be just too good, too fast. I was worried about the name Effigy.
What?
Yeah, I was inside.
Why?
I didn't speak my fears.
Why are you worried about the name Effigy?
Because I thought like people would associate that with like too good of XP and they'd hate on it when it came out.
I don't think players remember the old Effigy stuff being pulled away back then.
Oh, really?
No. I mean, it's not something people complain about that I see. Today, at least.
What is that? What happened with old effigies?
The ancient effigies back in the day were effectively dropped like candy to a point where you could go camp a high-level Slayer task and come away with 3 or 4 effigies on that and then dump that XP into a different skill.
Yeah, I do remember them being more frequent.
Yeah. Whereas now they're, kind of one of those wow moments, as they call it. But
for me, it's like, oh, what? Got an effigy?
Yeah, I'm just
light-bound crossbow.
I'm just thankful that I have all the skills now to go through it on my own. So
yeah,
that's when you made it. When getting an effigy is like, yes.
All right, ready to move on to the penguins?
Let's waddle on.
My favorite thing in the world to do: hide and seek.
Really?
No, absolutely not. It's the hardest thing in the world.
Okay, fair enough.
I liked it. I thought it was crazy.
Yeah.
When I went and did it last week, it's just seeing so many people running around. I was
It was
many people still play.
It was really nice to see them all back together doing that again. So this is the 12-year D&D anniversary that they were talking about, and this is the Penguin hide and seek program, of course, and they say you and your fellow adventurers spot thousands of KGP agents each and every week. And with this, they have updated the reward shop, added new rewards, and brought in a bunch of different quality of life changes as well with it. And, you know, with this, they also updated the models of the Penguin spies that are out there, too. I think it's a good update, and you know, this has been a D&D that, you know, going way back has always been one that I loved playing and, you know, loved interacting with many times. It was just something that you did every Tuesday. Well, for us here in North America, Tuesday night on weekly reset. And so did you guys take a run and do some penguins this week?
Yep, did it twice. Well, I think everyone did it twice because they got the reset token on the first one, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. When you did your first one, you were granted that reset token, which I think was a good thing to do for them. Mm-hmm. Really good thing. And I actually just want to take this opportunity to name drop a group that we've talked about before on the show, and that's World 60 Penguins. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with them.
Yeah,
With Team Penguin.
Remember the shout-outs back in the day,
yeah, we had them on the podcast at one point in time in the past, and you know, if you go to the RuneScape official forums, you can actually go there and find their weekly thread that shows where all the penguins are hiding, and they have their friends' chats for spotting them and whatnot, and just a general location on the thread. I'm not exactly sure where that is, but I'll put a link in the show notes to that at the end. They also have their website, world60pengs.com, and with that, you can actually go to that website, and it's got a list that shows where the penguins are last spotted. And if it's at a busy time of day, they will be updating this, you know, basically by the minute. It will have the new information of where you can find each of the various penguin spies. So if you don't want to use a friend's chat, you can definitely just hop in to world60pengs.com, and it will show you where the penguins are, and you can just head to that general area and you'll be able to find them. So
wow,
just a bit.
I did not know about that.
Yeah. I when I was doing the research for this, I was trying to look for the thread, and I found they actually have a website now, which is actually a really good thing, because you want to do that. You want to do that in 2020. So world60pengs.com. But let's just start in with these, what they did, and the first thing that they did when it came down to the various rewards that were available is that all of the prices for the various items have been rebalanced, and there's also a new kind of currency as well being tracked, which is called Penguin Spotted, which, you know, never goes down over time. It's kind of like the boss is killed in the PVM hub. So this currency is the one that lets you upgrade the Penguin Spy device, which is a new item that you'll get when you go to Tux and talk about the Penguin D&D each and every week. You'll use that, and you know, it's actually really interesting because you can use this now. You can use this device now to scan and look for penguins in much the same way that you would use a scan clue scroll if you're in a specific area where a penguin might be. Then it actually shows you on the map of where it is. So some nice quality of life fixes with that as well. So
that's so nice.
Yeah, so that was good. Another fun thing with this is that If you look inside the reward shop, there's the Sheldon pet that you can purchase with 80 penguins found. So, there's 12 penguins each and every week if you include the ghost penguin. So, probably in about 8 weeks or so, you can have the Sheldon pet if you wanted to. And these are just unlocks that you get whenever you find penguins. Other things include the Birdwatcher title at 20 penguins found, the Zap function at 40 penguins found, which actually stuns a penguin and prevents it from moving, believe it or not, which is something many people have always wanted, and that's one thing the penguin hunters in World 60 do free of charge for you. There's also the briefcase of disguises that stores your penguin outfits, which can allow you to effectively transform into one of these penguins at 60.
Do you know how long the zap lasts for?
I don't. I would assume it's probably in the range of 5 to 10 seconds, probably, I'd say. If I had to take a guess, that would seem like a sane number to go with.
I'll find out real quick.
Yeah.
Zap. Oh, wow. 3 minutes, apparently.
Oh!
That's crazy. That's OP.
So this was something that was probably suggested at some point by some penguin hunters, and then when they go in, they see this come in as a remaster / Ninja. I don't think this was the Ninja team, was it?
I don't believe so, but
it felt like Ninja, but it's not.
I'm like, wait, what team would it be if it wasn't?
Yeah. So, I don't know. Overall, nice changes to the penguin spy system and the ability to zap the penguins with that. And with this, one thing that I don't know if you guys saw, that there's a chance that you get a 007 penguin spawn in your vicinity. Did either of you guys get that?
I didn't.
All right. I did, but I wasn't actually able to find it. The scan function doesn't work for that.
What does it say to you?
It was just a little notification in the chat box that said 007 penguin spy has spawned within your vicinity.
And could you scan for it, or you just ran around and looked?
You have to run around and look, because I scanned and I couldn't find anything.
It's weird. I wonder what they look like.
I don't know. And on that note, there's actually also 2 secret agents hiding on the game world at any given time. And these are 001 through 006 in terms of what they'll be named. And when you spot either 007 or a regular secret agent penguin spy, you will get a treasure trail casket ranging from easy to master difficulty.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But that's unique to the player, isn't it, that one?
The 007 is unique to the player. But the other 2 can be found by anyone.
So it's only the 007 which gives the casket?
No, all of the secret agents do.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah. So you can have your own 007 that gives you the 2 penguin points in the casket, but there's also those 2 other secret agents that will be hiding around the world that will give the casket as well.
Strange. I did 2 runs. So when you check them off on because you can inspect your device and see which ones you've caught, if you've checked all 12, I think it is, are there extra ones apart from the 007 one that you can find?
No, I don't think it shows the 007 ones.
Right. It's a little bit confusing to me.
Yeah, it is. And, I think they just didn't want to have that be shown because when you look at it that way, they're effectively designed to be secret agents that really shouldn't be found by a spying device, I think, at least.
Yeah, you're right. Because it despawns when someone spies it. Despawns after...
Yeah.
When anyone spies it, or after 1 minute, it says. So that's, totally personal one.
Exactly. And there's also a way to get hints with your spy device. It'll tell you exactly the area of where the penguin is, which is something else that the World 60 Penguin folks always would track down on their own. So, this is a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal for an update this week. And, there's nothing groundbreaking about it. It just adds that, fresh coat of paint to this D&D that's been out for 12 years, and something that many people, of course, do weekly with it.
Well, it might revive. That was always something that I noticed clans doing.
Yeah,
I always would do a penguin run. The only time I've ever done penguins is like when I was maxing on my max grind, or in an XP competition. Otherwise,
right. Because you want to have that in for all the extra XP you can get from it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. There's also a couple of achievements from the Penguin update with this. Now, there's From Ardoyan with Love, which is to fully upgrade your penguin spotting device, and the Penguin Adoption Agency, which is to unlock the Sheldon pet. From Ardoyan with Love is required for the Comp Cape, and the Penguin Adoption Agency is required for the Trim Comp Cape, and there will be a grace period that will last until November 9th.
Good, I say.
I was going to say, how you feel about that, Joe?
No, I'm one of those that think that all content should be for comp and trim comp.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, most content.
That makes sense. I don't know that there's anything else I have to say in relation to the penguin hunting here this week. I think we pretty much covered all of it. I do have a picture up of here of what the new crated penguins look like, and they look so much more realistic than they did previously.
I want a new penguin quest.
Yeah, that'd be fun, hey?
New penguin quest.
Or Penguins from Space, the musical.
But we need it. We need it in 2020. Do you have any stupid, fun penguins now?
Maybe that's what the upcoming quest will be.
Oh, don't get my hopes up.
Yeah, I'm not going to get your hopes up. It's also worth noting that in this early phase here, from the 14th to the 27th of September, agents 001 to 006 will spawn more frequently, and spotting your first penguin during this period will grant you a D&D reset token.
Yeah, I think there's one thing to add is there's a ghost penguin where you need a ring of visibility, or the, what's it called from the quest?
Sliskay's Gift, I think.
Yeah.
And, that's penguin number 12. And the interesting part about that one is it's really hard to track down because it's only for you, and it can actually float over the water.
Well, how are you supposed to get that?
You gotta hope you find it somewhere where it's not over the water. That's all there is to it.
We need sailing. It's our only chance.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh boy.
Well, I didn't put in the ghost penguin that floats over the water. But I do need a boat with a sail on it to go get it.
Or you could just, wait till it comes onto land and do it that way.
It's like the imps in Prifddinas. Ugh.
Oh, yeah. Those are pretty annoying to hunt down. And I just got to say this one last thing before we move on. In relation to Agent 007, the catch is he's only visible to the players that spawns him. And this is what the news post says. And they say, you might say that the two of you have a bond.
Slow clap.
All right, let's move on to the patch notes for the week. a few here and there in relation to clans, amongst other things. So starting off, where's my patch notes sheet? That's weird. There we are. Got it. All right, patch notes. Got them. Yes, check. You can now renew your summoning points using the obelisk in your clan's citadel. Clan chat guests will now receive a message explaining that they do not have permission to talk into the channel immediately after joining it. And for mobile, and this is something people have been wanting for a long time since they added this in, added an option to toggle the mobile connection and battery status display. This is found under Settings, Gameplay, Interface, UI Customization. And this is something they actually had to add because it was a requirement of the Apple App Store, believe it or not, that if you're playing a game, you still need to be able to always see your battery status and connection status, whether you're on cellular or Wi-Fi. And it just needs to be on by default, but there's the option to turn it off. After leaving the familiarization, D&D will now be placed back at the Obelisk in Taverley instead of in Lumbridge Crater.
I love things like this.
I have no idea. Also, did you guys notice that there's a huge amount of penguin emojis in the news post this week?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jagex being hilarious again.
Yeah. The blueprint hover sound has been removed from the inventor's workbench. Ladders on ships in Witchhaven and Brimhaven will no longer cause players to teleport. I wonder where they were teleporting to.
Oh.
I have no idea.
Hey, would you bring my bank and click my Lava Titan? I can't get it to work. Here, click this Witchhaven ladder, please.
The Legacy mode interface no longer is causing crashes. Corrected the climbing animations for various ladders in Varrock and ensured that the players appear on the right side after climbing down. The walking and running animations are now going to be displayed properly after using the lodestone teleport and clicking out of the screen while underwater. Interesting. I'm imagining this is, or was an issue with the Tutorial Island Oyster D&D.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's underwater.
The warning message in the Quest Replay Choices menu for the Sliske's Endgame now includes new information about requirements for the interactions-only mode. Okay.
I still can't believe that is the quest that we got that's replayable. Sliske's Endgame and the other one that shall not be named.
Did you guys replay Sliske's Endgame?
No.
Oh.
I did whatever I needed to do for the archaeology thing to see Armadyl. Because I had, there was that bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to go through that.
You can now craft items with a full inventory when the item in question consumes ingredients from your inventory, thereby freeing up a space. This has always been an issue in relation to just, making any item with the MakeX interface. Fix the issue causing super compost and ultra compost potions to be supplied from the leprechaun instead of the master farming cape storage under certain circumstances. Okay. That's a very weird edge case. Untradeable.
Do you use leprechaun?
Huh?
Do you still use the leprechaun?
Oh, yeah, because I use ultra compost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of reasons why I like doing it that way, and it's just something I never really migrated from.
But can't you pay him to automatically compost your patches?
Yes, you can.
And you don't do that?
I don't do that because I'm cheap.
Okay.
Because I'm cheap. Yeah, I'm cheap, but I'm honest.
Yeah, exactly.
It is quite expensive.
I mean, it's $15K. That's an extra 2 herbs. That's an extra 2 herbs, or if they're $7K each, or and that adds up over time.
Poor little leprechaun, you say, "Hey, here's a couple herbs for yourself, man. Go out, go."
Using a dwarven chain axe in double XP mode will no longer double progress, but using double resources mode will still increase your progress towards daily challenges. Dying the same time as Morningstar will cause his drops to appear in the Birthorpe Troll Cave instance until they are picked up. Otherwise, they can be claimed for material after advancing to the next path state. I'm guessing this is the Troll Invasion minigame.
I can't say I remember any of their names.
Right?
So...
Might be one of those like early mini quest path things.
Yeah, one of the Birthorpe first-time user experience things. Fixed an issue where the Slayer introspection could prevent the guaranteed Elite Slayer monster spawn if players reduce the size of the task. Oh boy. You wouldn't want that happening. Because those Elite Slayer monsters are
maybe you would, though.
Would you?
Like,
I mean, maybe if it was like a Rune Dragon or something, right?
Yeah, if it was like just a pain. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
And you're going full AoE on everything, maybe.
Do Elite Ripper demons exist?
Yeah.
Oh.
Slasher demons.
Oh. Okay, then.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
How do you get a guaranteed Elite Slayer monster?
I don't think you can.
But that's what it says, right?
No.
Wait, there was a way you could get guaranteed with the Seekers, right?
Oh, that's what it is. You're right, Tanis.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right on that.
Yeah.
I gotta look this up now.
So it says, if on Slayer... Oh, this is Fandom Wiki. If on a Slayer assignment, one elite monster is guaranteed to spawn.
Right.
Okay, that's simple. So at least one.
All right, fair enough. And if you were using Slayer Introspection to lower the number, it wouldn't happen. And finally, medium clue scrolls that require the beckon emote can be completed once again.
So I think you missed one, and it's kind of a big one.
Okay.
Untradeable items can no longer be duped using the alchemizer,
you're right.
alchemizer machine.
You're right. I highlighted that one, and I didn't mention it. Yeah. That's a big deal.
There was a dupe in the game?
Apparently.
Untradeable.
Oh, wow.
I slipped that in the middle of the patch notes there.
Even, I'm trying to think, what could you do with untradeable?
That you would want to high alch them. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Mod Worky said on Reddit, he confirmed to someone saying it was a minor issue and some Iron Men maybe used it to alch some stuff, but it wasn't anything major.
Right.
According to...
Yeah, because I'm just trying to think about this, where exactly you would be able to exploit something like this, and it's not really coming to mind. So,
man, you don't want to exploit something that obscure if it's...
Well, yeah, they're definitely going to be able to tell what that one was, right?
You're going to get caught.
All right, let's move on to live streams this week, and there was a bumper crop of live streams this week. First and foremost, JD was out at the Edinburgh Zoo playing with the penguins, which you can find on the Instagram RuneScape account. I think it was about 20-odd minutes or so. He did a live stream from there, interacting with their penguins. And they also, if you look in the news post from the week, there's actually a live feed of the penguins at that zoo.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I checked that out. That was pretty cool.
And I would think that they would sleep at night, but they're awake.
How long did you watch it for?
Well, I just have it up right now, and it's the middle of the night there, and some of them are like it looks like they're awake. So the question is, when did they sleep? But look at that JD live stream. They look like very social little birds. So, and I've been told before that penguins are indeed birds, even though they can't fly.
They are indeed bird shaped.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen one fly. Have you?
Well, obviously, you never seen someone kick a penguin.
Now,
Oh, wait.
now, we're not for animal abuse like that.
I'm kidding, of course. No, I think penguins are cool.
Yeah,
It's like ostriches. There are quite a few flightless birds, aren't there?
They're RuneScape's Russian agents.
Yeah, I mean, they're spies, though. I mean, sometimes you got to put your foot down.
All right. Also, this week on the live stream, there was what they're calling the Ninja Natter, a bit of a live stream with Mods Breezy and Shogun talking about upcoming Ninja fixes with Mod Huli hosting. Not too much information came out of this one. They talked about what defines success for a Ninja Strike, and it's often just how the players react to the change and how the interaction of the content goes up after that. And one place you can actually see this is they talked about it in the video here. You could see that the number of crystal keys in game drastically went down when they shipped the change to the crystal chests. It just completely hit the floor and just fell, which was actually really interesting to see. And thinking about that probably has an impact on Dragonstone accounts as well. And, you know, Tanis, this is one we actually talked about. Remember the Shattered Worlds Ninja Strike?
Yeah, I do.
We don't have magnitude on this, but there was a huge spike for the month or so after Shattered Worlds was updated in terms of people playing it.
I believe it.
And the number of people playing it on average is still higher than it was before Strike. So that was marked as a success with that as well.
Yeah, well, that was a decent. I mean, that was pretty decent one.
Yeah, absolutely. But what everybody, of course, wanted to hear, in addition to when the Ninja Dojo would reopen, they don't have a date on that yet, was about the new lunar spells that are coming out next week, as well as some ninja fixes for lunar spells. So we got 4 new spells coming out next week. We got Fire Urn, Telekinetic Grind, Sift Soil, and Trap Telekinesis. Fire Urn fires decorated in infernal urns. It uses one of each rune listed for each time, or for each urn you fire. It's level 82 magic with 5 water, 5 earth, 10 fire, and 1 astral rune. Telekinetic Grind will grind down up to 60 of a targeted item in your backpack that can be ground by a pestle and mortar. So this can be your bird's nest. This could be your black ink for that one archaeology artifact. It could be mud runes, practically anything. And this one's actually a really simple one. It's 2 astral runes and 1 lob rune. I'm really hyped about this one. This is 85 magic.
Do you think it does noted things as well? Because there are quite a few stackables that.
Well, it says up to 60 of a targeted item, so I would assume it does.
But that could just be the stackables.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to test that. But even then, you know, it changes the workflow for what you're going to be doing, so that's good. Then you have Sift Soil. This is different than the auto screener because it works as though you would be at the soil sifting place. It would give you the artifacts and give you the full range of materials rather than just the materials from that site. So this is going to be an interesting thing to decide between whether you use this or the auto screener. This one costs you 10 water runes, 5 earth runes, and 1 astral rune. But, of course, you just bring a mud staff with this and problem solved. This one's also a pretty neat one. Level 91 magic on this. And then Trap Telekinesis at level 97 collects trapped animals and resets the traps. This works on Box, Electrified, Tortle, and Marmoset traps.
What? Did they fix my hunter?
I think this is a way to fix your hunter.
Oh, but is Pauline going to get in the way?
Nope.
Am I going to have to smack her around?
No, you don't have to go see Pauline for any of this.
Thank God.
I know that. That's the same thing I was thinking coming into this.
It says on the tweet, you'll only need to access the spellbook to use them. We're keeping you well away from Pauline Polaris. Thank you.
Yeah, it would have been a riot. No.
It's going to be fun to talk about next week. But in addition to that, there's going to be Lunar Spellbook Teleport tablets. So that should be good fun. And you'll still have to have the requirements in order to make all of the tablets, or sorry, to use them. But there was another live stream this week, and they just kept going with this. This is live stream number 3. This was what they're calling the JMod Tea Break with Mod Hooli and Mod Warden. The idea behind this live stream is that it is a way to get to know some of the JMods inside Jagex and just chat with them and, get to know a little bit about them on the personal side. And, I think we need to do that from time to time because, there's those people we always just talk about, but we don't really know what makes them tick and how they are inside, right? And Tanis, are we thinking of the same person here that they need to do one of these with at some point?
I think so.
Mod Mike?
Gosh.
I'm just thinking, would it make me come round or not?
I don't know if I want to put him through it. I don't know. It would be good, though.
Yeah, and who I'd really love to see on here, and it's a shame he's not on the RuneScape team anymore, but he's on the other unannounced MMO, is Mod Mark. I think Mod Osborne would also be a fun one, and, I think you also got to get Mod Mike at the top of the list as well on this.
Mm-hmm.
Always, and, yeah, boy, that can go either way.
It really could, but they're keeping it lighthearted too. They're not talking about any, core,
right,
real bedrock things that are going to make or break the live stream. They're not talking about the next form of monetization or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're just getting to know the person.
He did. What's his name? Warden mentioned it a little bit, right? He talked a bit about the microtransactions, and I think what he said was actually really, I don't know, insightful in a way, because he looked at it not from, the head of a company perspective, but rather like a realistic perspective, almost like a player perspective. And he said it's a sensitive topic to talk about, but this is kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And that was nice to see.
Yeah. And Tanis, who are you thinking that you want to get on there?
Timbo.
Okay, Timbo would be good.
Timbo, and of course Raven. Just
Raven.
What makes him tick? Anybody's guess? I don't know. I'd like to know.
Yeah, so lots of great opportunities for this, and I think this is a really important thing to do. But so give this a watch if you want to learn more about Mod Warden this week. But I can also say that you guys are going to have a chance to hear from Mod Warden directly very soon here. Because next week, Mod Warden will actually be joining us on the podcast. And our topics of discussion are
Did you
going...
drop it, Shane?
Yes, I did. Our topics of discussion are going to be about the strategic vision in 20 years of RuneScape and where we're at today. So that'll be coming to you guys next week on RSBANDBUpdate. So look forward to that episode.
I am beyond excited for that. Nice.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun discussion to have, and we're just wrapping production on that. It's starting to look like a good episode, so we'll be shipping that in next week's podcast feed. So hopefully you guys all enjoy that when that arrives. And if you want the precursor of what Mod Warden's all about, personally, watch his tea break. But if you want just a little bit more, come to RSBNB Update next week. Tell your friends, and we'll make sure that everybody hears about this one. So that's something that we can all look forward to.
this is the one that I've dreamt about. This is one that I've really wanted to talk to Mod Warden since he came in, because I think there's been a pretty noticeable change. I can't wait to get him on and talk about that.
It's going to be a fun episode, I will say that. But, before we, get too far down the path here, we should talk about what Joe is all about, because that's what this is. This is what, you posted this video on our Discord, and it was something that, completely floored me in terms of the quality, in terms of the filmography that you used with this, as well as, just the fact that you had all this lore crammed into this 17-minute video here. And this video is called The Pre-First Age of RuneScape. So just give us a bit of a rundown. Tell us what spurred you to do this and what your thought process was in creating it.
Yeah, well, thank you for the compliments. I love RuneScape. I've been playing RuneScape for 15 years. I'm nearly trimmed. I have a Master Quest cape, but I'm a shameful space barer. And it's now, now that lore's becoming really, an integral part of the game, that I wanted to know everything. And there's so much to read on the wiki, and the wiki doesn't always have all of the information. There's so many people to talk to in the official RuneScape Discord. There are books, and I've read one of the books, The Betrayal at Falador, but it's just, I've tried so hard for so long to get the lore and to understand it, and I've always wanted to watch the videos, like the videos that RuneScape used to put out, that Jagex used to put out. There's one called The Origins of Gillinor, and it's like a motion graphic, and it's all dramatic, and that was like 7 years ago. And
yeah.
I want more. I want them for everything that's there. So I decided, I edit videos outside of this, and it's something that I love. And I thought I could really, if I had a script, I could really make it. I think I could do it justice. So I advertised for writers on Reddit, and it was mostly positive, but I got a lot of people saying, did you see that, the original post?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. I mean, you can imagine what some people said, and I don't blame them. They were saying, you want someone to come and do all the work for you? Are you going to pay us? And I was willing to pay. I didn't mind, but I was looking for a creative collaborator, not an employee.
Right.
So that was my main issue. I didn't know it, but I wanted to make it. I wanted to direct it, but I just needed someone to give me the stories.
Sure.
So found a few people, and I actually had to sadly let someone down, because I'd already kind of taken someone on. And after that, a close friend reached out to me and said, I'd love to do it. And this is someone I play with, and it's not a stranger. So I thought, I have to go with Marks.
You got to go with your friends.
Right.
You got to go with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, he wrote the script, and I think I had a couple of lorehounds proofread it, and there are still not inaccuracies, but the thing is with the lore and what I'm learning, and I'm learning a lot about the lore just through, writing it and talking to people.
There's always
figuring
questions
it out.
in the interpretation, right?
Absolutely. And especially, the first stages and the pre-first stage.
Yeah.
It's really ambiguous.
We got nothing really.
Yeah. And it's not linear. So it's hard. This is definitely the hardest thing about it for me. It's having an accurate script. But, essentially I just wanted to make, I wanted to make what I wanted to watch.
Right.
And
that's why,
I think
that's one of the best reasons to ever get into content creation, is to make what you want to listen to what you want to watch, to what you want to use. Yeah. That's why we do what we do here. And one
exactly.
thing
and that's how you're able to push out nearly 800 bloody episodes.
Yeah,
wow.
and one thing I want to compliment you on is that you start off this video, and it looks like for the first minute and a half of it, is the first minute and a half of this video one single scene, or is there a cut in there that we're not seeing?
More or less, yeah. It's the first shots are really, really long.
Okay, because we start in here at about 30 seconds in, and we just pan in all the way, and we move forward and forward and forward, and you don't know exactly what you're going to wind up looking at, but you are looking at Frenesque and the corpse of Ma, which I've never seen it from this angle, so that this shot amongst others in here really blew me away.
And unfortunately, it's not tied to Telos. That's just would have been super hella cool if I was smart.
It was
but
a full weekend, half a week, and a full weekend playing around on free cam and skyboxes and filters and then editing them together. It's like unbelievably fun. And while I was doing it, it really it's kind of arrogant to say so, but once I'd finished it and while I was making it as well, I was thinking every RuneScape player needs to see this video, because when I watched it back, maybe it was just rose tinted glasses, but I thought, I love this game. It's so beautiful. The music, the scenery, the stories.
And that's the same thing I thought when I did our previously on Desperate Times video, the 2-minute little short commercial for that. I thought everybody needs to see this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, something that I just want to bring up with it is, while it is visually stunning, I love the cinematography with it. One of the things that I love the most about it is it makes the lore accessible for me in a way that is not there, especially in pre-First Age, right? I mean, I don't know. That there's not a lot of sources for that. When I started to get into the story of RuneScape and started kind of getting into questing was when they had that era of the voice acted quest. And that did get me kind of hooked into the story, and then there really wasn't much after that. So I love it when somebody makes a video like this, and this one is really, really well done.
Thanks. Yeah, that's what I was going for, because like I said, I tried, and even your podcasts as well about lore, I love them, I listen to them, but it just doesn't retain. It doesn't retain information when I read, when I listen to people discuss it. I need it cinematic and visual and dramatic.
And see, that's the thing, that our episodes on the archaeology, for example, are lore discussions, whereas what you have here is just a quick way to catch up on the First Age lore in RS.
Yeah.
And, the way I see it with this is a format that could be extended out to practically anything lore-based in-game. You could do it to a quest. You could do it to, the ages like you do. You could do one on the God War. You could do one on Sarah Doman. The options are limitless for this. So...
And don't worry, it's that's our plan.
Okay.
We want to first we have 6 more videos to come. So the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth more ages. We're going to do a video for every single age in the same light. The second age is probably going to be 2 videos because it's huge.
Right.
And then after that, I want to get voice actors, and I want to go into character stories. I want to go into Zao talk, and I want to just do this for everything in the game.
Yeah, I know many people who would be very interested in Zautak. Where exactly are we looking in game at 4 minutes and 30 seconds in on the video, if I can ask, because I don't have any idea where this is.
Pull it open. 4:30, right? Oh, by the way, this transition at 4:30, I'm really, really proud of.
All right. Where are we going from to?
we are... But it's a bit of a scam, okay? We're going from the Elder Kiln, where you get your Tok'ar capes.
All right.
And then once the lava covers the screen and it transitions into the next thing, it's still the kiln, but it's going up to the Tok'ar that you couldn't see in the first shot.
All right. Yeah. Sounds good. What would you say was the most difficult thing about this?
About the editing or about the whole...
Just about the production
process
in total.
Technically, I struggled a lot with OBS, and I'm actually really unhappy with the quality. Even if you full screen it and click 1080p, you can notice that the quality isn't as it should be.
Yeah. But I mean,
I had a lot of it.
When you combine that with the audio, it's really not that much of a problem, I find.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I watched this front to back, and I didn't think at any time that there was a quality issue in terms of the video side of it, in terms of what you were just talking about. So that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
About OBS all the time.
Yeah, it's a
tough one. It's like
yeah, I get your pain. I get your pain.
And I mean, there's the script as well, you know.
Yeah.
For the first stage, we've just about finished the script, and I've had about, I'd say, maybe 6 proofreaders, and you wouldn't believe the headache that I was in last night. I'm pretty happy with it. I think we covered everything. We checked the wiki, we cross-referenced. Mark's wrote it for me because he does all the writing, and then people are saying, oh, you've missed this, that shouldn't be there, change that, and so many changes. And then, okay, next person, what do you think? Oh no, why have you added this? Take that out, remove that. It's really hard to make it, accurate and objective.
And it's a question of, how much in detail do you go? Do you cover every little nook and cranny of it? Or do you just, hit the main key bullet points?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Because you could be there for a long time on that. And in general, what our analytics and examining our users has told us is that for our format, and I don't know if it'd be the same for this, but in general, anywhere in the range of 4 to 6 minutes is the sweet spot for a singular non-episode-based video of something on this. And, I will freely admit that you're not going to fit the first stage in 4 to 6 minutes. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
So I think it was done pretty well for what you had to work with and the sheer amount of information you had.
Yeah, thank you. And I think it started. Looking back, for me personally, looking at it now, I love how it is, and I love the beginning. I love that it's slow, but when I show it to people, I know that they don't watch more than a couple of minutes, and they say, "Oh yeah, it's good." And I say to them, "Please just watch it until the 9th minute." And it's funny because I edited it in about 3 days, so you see, I know the points of where I ended that day and started the next one, and my mood was different. And it's like, boom, here it goes, faster. And I realized this is how I make it more engaging. I particularly love when it goes into the kiln and then the music changes and it does that panning, that pulling up from behind Mar, and then you have the first hit, the first crash. That's when I realized this is how it should be the whole way through, and I keep up that kind of momentum. So if anyone does watch it, please just wait until the 5th minute and see if it captures you then, if it hadn't before.
And one thing I really appreciate that you did stylistically is that, rather than just, going for the typical 16:9 that you see in most YouTube videos about RS, you actually framed it in a very cinematic way.
Yeah, I added in some fake black borders. Someone messaged me about that, actually. They sent me an email last night, and they said because of the aspect ratio of their monitor, or the resolution of their monitor, he said, don't render it with the black bars. YouTube will provide that where necessary. So we had a bit of back and forth. And,
oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and I mean, these are the things you pick up as you go along through this. But nonetheless, a very good first project, and I want to watch and see what the second one does and where you go from here. But it's just a really, really well put together piece. So where can folks find this if they want to watch this for themselves? What's your YouTube channel?
They can search The Book of RS on YouTube. That's all one word, The Book of RS. And that's it. Really, just look there. You'll find us. And,
of course, we will also have this linked in the show notes at update.rsbnb.com. And, I'll just say thank you again for producing this. And, Tannis will know that if somebody posts a creation of their own in the Discord and it draws my attention, it draws Diana's attention, and it draws enough attention to get you to come on the show, you definitely have something here.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Thank you. Incidentally, Diana is helping with proofreading, which is nice.
Good. Yep. Alrighty, that is the Book of RS on YouTube, all one word. This time looking at the Pre-First Age of RuneScape. So you can check that out. It'll also be linked at update.rsbnb.com. We're going to move into tech news right now, but before we do that, I'll just take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for this episode because, without you guys, everything we do here, the monthly bits, the movie nights, roundtables, Inside Update, and more would not be possible without you. So this week I'd like to thank Andrew C., Brock H., Cameron, CGB 900, Christian S., Danny W., Diana, Duramax, Jade Gizmo, Jade W., James W., Jason S., Joe M., John P., Kyle, Mr. Ling, Nora, Rastafa, Samantha R., Stubby, The Naked Captain, The Lion, Tom V., and Zant. Thank you all of you for your support. It truly does mean the world to us. And if you want to learn more about this, just head on over to patreon.com/RSBNB. You can sign up there for as little as $1 a month. You get access to the entire back catalog of monthly bits. You get to vote on the monthly bits and so much more. And, you also get Inside Update. You get to come to the round tables, movie night, all of that for as little as $1 a month. We also have the VIP tier, which is at $3 a month. You get a special VIP rank on Discord and a mention on the podcast at the start of the month, in addition to high-quality stereo AAC versions of the show. And then we have the Insider tier. For $5 a month, you get a shout-out each and every week, and you'll gain exclusive access to the outtakes that we use to make the clip show at the end of the year. And we do have a monthly bit coming to you guys. It should be up right now as you're hearing this on the Patreon feed. This one is about the graphical identity of RuneScape. Zant joined us, and we talked about the graphical identity, or lack thereof. But we still managed to talk about graphics for about an hour. So that was an interesting discussion, wasn't it, Tannis?
Yeah, who would have thought we could talk about RuneScape graphics that long?
And it even went back all the way to RS Classic as well. So that'll be an interesting perspective to have. Just, where we started and where we wound up today. It's really interesting to see it evolve and see all the tools that were in use. But if you want to learn more about any of this, just check out patreon.com/RSBNB. Thanks so much, everybody. All right. So Oracle is going to be presumably the owner of TikTok in the United States. They beat out Microsoft and Walmart. Yeah.
All I know about Oracle is that. That's what comes up when you download Java, right?
Yeah, they're the company behind Java. They also produce one of the largest database implementations out there that can be used on the server side in huge applications. And with this bid, they would effectively become a technology partner with ByteDance and would have access to the source code on this. But TikTok isn't commenting, and Oracle isn't commenting on this. And they're calling it a case of being Oracle the trusted tech partner, and it will likely not be structured as an outright sale. And the idea behind this is that there are concerns within the United States that there are potential security issues within the TikTok application, seeing as the company that owns TikTok, ByteDance, is effectively owned by the Chinese government. Now, with this, Microsoft was thought to be doing a bid with Walmart, but that was rejected by the parent company, ByteDance. And, we don't exactly know what this is going to be, but the reason we heard about this week is there was a September 15th date that was set for TikTok to come up with a plan, or it would be banned from the U.S. Because recall, as it is right now, TikTok is actually currently banned in India because of the national security and defense concerns that the Indian government has with the Chinese government. Now, with this, many other tech companies were thought to be looking at purchasing the U.S. side of TikTok, such as Twitter, Google, and I don't know how Walmart is a tech company, but they're listed here. But Oracle is certainly a bit of a strange one on this, and some people are suspecting that it's because the company CEO is friendly with the Trump administration on this.
Oh, you mean there might be some corruption involved?
Or maybe some quid pro quo. I don't know.
Oh, no, that doesn't sound like our precedent.
We don't know what's going to happen with this. Likely, if I had to make a guess on what was going to happen with this, is you would see a situation where Oracle effectively acts as an auditor of the TikTok source code and infrastructure and provides US-based servers for the US users to connect to. That would be my expectation of what this deal would potentially look like once it all is finalized and shakes out. But following that, we really don't know too much more on this at this time. And it's certainly an interesting time, because this is perhaps the social network that the teenagers of the day are most interested in using. And if you were to shut that off, I don't exactly know what kind of ramifications you'd have from that in the U.S.
I would have an unhappy household for a little bit.
But I'm sure you would be pleased at the end of the day, right?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, I would feel better, but I don't know. I don't want to take her joy.
Yeah, Joe.
When it's like being used in a proper way, it seems fine. But I don't trust the Chinese government, so
yeah.
There's
and the algorithms and the data and all the harvesting that happens with this. Joe, do you have any thoughts on this story, or do you use TikTok?
No, not really. I don't use TikTok, and yeah, I'm not too bothered.
Yeah, and I mean, you're not in the U.S., so it wouldn't affect you, or North America for that matter. So
that's right.
And the interesting part about this is that it's actually Canada and Australia are included in who Oracle would be operating TikTok for, in addition to the U.S. But as per usual with most tech news stories, we'll just have to wait and see where this one goes. There's another...
As usual, drunken U.S. dragging its two buddies, Australia and Canada, along with it. Smash up the bar. Okay.
But there's another big story this week. NVIDIA has acquired ARM for $40 billion. And NVIDIA, of course, is the company that makes graphics cards that we talked about their impending 3080 GPU launch. But ARM is something everybody is aware of, because ARM is the technology that powers most of the mobile devices out there. Granted, the chips that you get aren't made by ARM. They're effectively using the ARM-based instruction set But this deal, $40 billion, is one of the biggest hardware deals that was ever made. And the idea behind this is that NVIDIA is interested in looking at ARM for their artificial intelligence capacities. Because did you know that the world's most powerful supercomputer in this day and age is an ARM supercomputer? And when you combine ARM's ability to do that with the processing power that NVIDIA has, things become very interesting.
That just freaks me out. I've been watching way too much Star Trek, and AI is not. That's not a good spot right now.
Yeah, and you know,
me out, Shane.
Nobody really knows, how far along we are. Personally, I don't think we're at that stage where a hostile takeover is in the realm of possibility. But the important part about this deal is that ARM's effectively deal that they have in place that allows them to build the mobile processors for companies like Apple and Samsung is going to be unaffected by this. So people who have mobile devices don't need to worry, but there's many places we could look to have a future benefit, such as you guys will probably remember that NVIDIA was the company behind the CPU for the Nintendo Switch of all things. So with that ARM-based technology, you could have more complicated system-on-a-chip type designs like the Nintendo Switch has, which potentially would mean an advancement forward in Switch-type devices. Or, maybe even one day NVIDIA might want to ship their own chip and become a competitor to Intel. Combine it with their GPUs, and you could have something really interesting going on there. But this is a big move for NVIDIA because they've wanted to make CPUs for phones and small devices for a long time, but they never really had the success for it. So you talk about this ARM acquisition and what it can do for AI. This is a really big move and is going to completely change what it means to be NVIDIA at the end of the day.
Is it going to make my graphics cards cheaper in any way?
Probably, right? More on the market, more choice, more competition out there.
Okay, I'll take it.
That's only going to happen if AMD can get their ducks in a row on the GPU side.
They have, haven't they? Like AMD's.
They're beating them
they're
beating them at the mid to high end range, but they have nothing to compete with NVIDIA at the ultra high end range.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's an awful expensive range.
Yeah, it is. But all right. And our last piece of tech news is Apple's Time Flies event, which saw the release of a new iPad Air, a Series 6 Apple Watch, and an Apple Watch SE, which is a lower-cost Apple Watch device for anybody wanting to get into that market but doesn't want to go for the full Apple Series 6. And it's interesting, because remember last week we were just talking about new iPads?
Yeah. I'm just wondering, does an Apple Watch have has it got an iOS, like the whole thing on it?
It doesn't have iOS on it. It's got its own more limited version of the operating system called watchOS.
I was wondering if it had voiceover. So
I don't exactly know how it works because I don't talk to mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Curious. That's something I'll have to look at.
Yeah, it might be worth doing. And we were talking about last night that if you're effectively looking for, a fitness device and you're already an iOS user, the Apple Watch is the way to go. The new iPads are actually really interesting because they have Apple's most powerful chip to date with them, and they also updated the low-cost $399 US iPad as well, which at this point is a mega steal with the chip they put in that. So all in all, if you're in the market for an Apple tablet, now is the time on that. They also announced an Apple One subscription that bundles Apple Music, Apple TV Plus together for $14.95 a month, as well as Apple News. And iOS 14 launched this week. Launched on the 16th of September. How are you finding that? Did you update?
No, I have not updated. I'm making sure. I always give it a few days.
Yeah. I updated on day one. I haven't really had any major issues with it. I've been trying to find a use for the new widgets, as they're called. Basically allows you to put a preview of some data on your screen. Think of it as a live app tile for that example, but I really haven't found a use for it. Examples given are weather, calendars, clocks. You could see your notes. You could maybe even see your screen time, one of the features that they have for that. But, the biggest changes this year come on the iPad OS side. And what you're actually able to do now with iPad OS is that if you have an Apple Pencil, you can directly draw on your screen inside, say, a Google search field, and it will directly convert that to text.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, of course, I don't have necessarily that, but when I found out about that last night, immediately I was like, okay, I'm going to get this. And
you're going to try and find a pencil.
And I'm going to try to find a pencil. Yep, exactly. It's amazing.
Yeah, more and more of these things are starting to look like laptop replacements, I think. The question is, are the apps there, and are you able to multitask the same way you could on a regular system? Do you have your eye on any of the accessibility stuff going forward for 14?
Well, is 14 the one that was supposed to bring in the taps for the accessibility shortcuts?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm most interested in. I've already just learned how to use my home button for accessibility shortcuts, so I'm looking forward to trying the taps. Because being able to turn your magnifying glass on and off, turn your zoom in on and off, turn your voiceover on and off with just a few gestures would be great.
Yeah, and the question, of course, will it be supported on the older devices like the 8 Plus, or is that something that's limited to newer devices only? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, I got an iPad like not even a month ago, so there you go. But yeah, my phone is the older one. I hope so. Yeah.
And, just to go back to the watch pricing, in the US, you're looking at $279 for the Apple Watch SE, which is, the modern chip in an older enclosure without some of the bells and whistles on it. Seems like a hell of a deal.
It is, but it's still quite a bit more than a Fitbit, isn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, if you just wanted to use it for the fitness stuff, the Fitbit is probably a good way to go on that. So, Joe, are you much of a iOS user? Or are you Android?
I'm Android.
Okay.
But,
what's your take on what Apple has been talking about recently?
I'm just not a huge believer of the way that Apple does things. I've just had a bad taste in my mouth since the new phone, new charger, or new charger doesn't fit the old phone thing, vice versa. I can't remember, but I just thought that was a bit cheap of them. I've never paid attention since, but I did buy their AirPods, so I'm a hypocrite.
Interesting. What do you connect them to then?
I actually use them because I use my headset for work like all day. When right now, I'm using them and connect them to my computer when I'm just chatting and stuff.
A Windows computer?
Gaming. Yeah.
Interesting.
Just Bluetooth.
I had no idea that they worked. Do you get the full suite of features and everything?
No. And with my Android phone, I can't mess with the volume and stuff. I can pause and play, and that's about it, just with the double tap. And the microphone is awful with my I think it's really bad on my Android phone as well, and on the PC. I don't think it fully utilizes the software or whatever when using the mic on them.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. Didn't they also announce over-ear headphones?
I don't think so. I think that was theorized, but we haven't heard anything on that as of yet. But maybe at the iPhone event next month. All right, I think we can move on from tech news and start bringing this one home. I'll just, before we move into achievements, I'll just say if you want to sign up for our fishing skill of the month that starts on September 20th, head on over to rsbnb.com/skotm. Anyone can sign up. Just enter your RS name. Give us an email if you want to be notified when it starts. And we'll start at September 20th at reset time UTC. All right, Tanis, start us off with our achievements this week.
All right, we got some good achievements this week. We've got Donnie with 120 archaeology, September 16th. We have Diapolo with 10 with 99 archaeology on September 16th. Potato with 99 Slayer on September 16th. And Potato again with 99 Fletching on the 16th, and Truly a Weeb with 99 Hunter on September 16th. So sorry you didn't get that one earlier.
Yeah.
Then we have Holy Nicholas with 99 Divination on the 14th. We have Delta with 99 Farming on September 13th. We have Erendil 20 with 99 Rune Crafting on the 13th as well. Now I challenge you to do the same on Old School. And then we have Nay Farn with 99 Firemaking on the 13th as well.
And then wrapping us up, we have Goku SSJ Blue with 99 Archaeology on September 12th. Surge Aurora with 99 Magic on the 12th as well. Luke Totodile with 200 million Fishing XP on September 11th. And Jag3 Dagster with 99 Woodcutting on September 10th. Well done, everyone, all around.
Nice job.
All right, pick of the week time, and I believe this one is going to Joe, and it is a movie. So what do you got?
So I watched a film on Netflix called I'm Thinking of Ending Things. And I don't know how much you usually talk about the pick of the week. Do I have a couple of sentences? Or
I'll give it a few minutes.
All right. Well, I'm a big fan of psychological thrillers, and one of my favorites is Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal, and it's kind of along the same lines. It's, a messed up timeline. You really have to think about it as you watch it, and it's definitely one of those films that, once you've finished it, you still have no idea what's gone on. You can have a stab at what you thought it was all about, but you're probably wrong, and you need to watch interviews and read maybe a bit of what the directors said and the actors have said. It's one of those kinds of films. It's really weird and it's uncomfortable, and there are long, awkward shots in it, and it's just good cinema. I think you should watch it.
So what does it mean exactly, without giving too much away? I'm thinking of ending things.
So I guess the surface story is a girl is thinking of ending things with her new ? Boyfriend, and she's on her way to go and meet his parents.
Okay.
It sounds boring, but it's really, really good. I think Toni Collette.
Does murder come into it at any point?
Well, I guess it's ambiguous.
Okay, because, looking at the title, it kind of infers that, doesn't it, Tanis?
That's what I thought at first.
Yeah.
So,
I thought it was maybe about suicide at first.
Yeah,
and even the first monologue sounds like that.
Which I mean, you wouldn't want to watch that, but otherwise. I mean, maybe you would, but I don't know. I mean, you can find so many things on Netflix in this day and age. It's really quite astounding. But all right, I'm thinking of ending things. A movie pick of the week. We don't get too many of those, so that's good. Tanis, what have you been up to this week on RS?
Oh man, I'm still gathering energy, but I've been gathering a lot. So this time I'm gonna make a bunch of porters, go on another big archaeology run, and hopefully kind of get finished up with that. At least the 99 part, I'm hoping.
But then you still have Guildmaster to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still got 120 because, I'm a firm believer in legit maxing, and I haven't been legit max for a minute. It's starting to bother me a little bit. I think
we're coming up on 6 months.
Yeah. So. Well, yeah, and I mean, I still need 120 farming and herb lore.
Right.
Like I don't feel right until I got to 120 that you're supposed to have.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. How about you, Joe?
Well, I've been using the free cam a lot. It was really weird after finishing the video, coming to play the game after getting all my shots. But I mostly do my my Reaper tasks, PVM. I try and knock out some fish flingers.
Oh, interesting. Trim rack. Yeah, we don't hear too much about that one, but I guess it is on trim.
Yeah, it's a nice little community actually that does it. You'd think it's dead, but no, it's quite a nice mini game still. But it's definitely one of my least favourite trim requirements, apart from the rocks. I don't know if you've done those, the strange and golden rocks.
No, I've done a few, but I haven't done the requirement.
It's just horrible.
I always thought the chompy bird would be the worst.
That's the direction I was going. Oh, you enjoyed the chompy bird one?
Yeah. I've always liked chompy hunting in general, and you can use an old ACK coil. Really speeds things up.
Oh, well, imagine that.
Yeah.
Probably
Another one I really enjoyed, and this is weird, is Champion Scrolls. Finished that one. It's quite nice because you go to places where you kill things that you haven't seen for a long time, and it's kind of AFK.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of that trim requirement is to get you around and complete the entire game with that. So that makes a lot of sense. All right. As for me this week, I got 108 archaeology. Aside from that, some herb farming here and there, and of course, I did my penguins this week twice, so that was good fun with that. But I'm still actually being fairly well enamored with archaeology, believe it or not.
I believe it.
Yeah.
And you're cruising, man. 108.
Yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned this last week, or did I? Did I mention on the show last week that I finished Curadet?
No.
Yeah, I did.
How did you not mention that last week?
I don't know, but that was at 107. Or maybe maybe that was on the weekend. I don't know. It's all a blur at this point. But but I finished Curadet, and it's actually a good spot there at 108 in the Praetorium. You do have to use a porter for that one, unfortunately, but it's a good spot in terms of the materials that you can get. And I've actually broken down. I've started buying my materials, and I'm funneling the money from the herb farming into the archaeology materials. So that's my fun little way of training archaeology.
Whatever you're training, you pay for it with herb lore.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I want to call you're like the florist. Watch out. She pays for everything with this herb.
I wish there were flowers, but there's not. Well, I think that sums up this episode of Update then. If you guys want full show notes, once again, including a link to Joe's wonderful First Age lore summary video, you can find that at update.rsbnb.com.
Pre-First Age, sorry.
Pre-First Age, right. Sorry about that. And
thanks.
You can also subscribe to the podcast, any number of podcast listeners out there, Google, Apple, Spotify, Pocket Cast, YouTube, Stitcher, practically anything. Just visit update.rsbnb.com. youtube.com/subscribe, and we'll be back next week for that fun-filled episode with Mod Warden. So until then, take care, everyone.
See ya.
Cheers.